What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Talk to Me here on notfest.com. As always, I am Joshua Toomey, joined by the one and only Chris Akin. Chris, how are we doing this week?
Well, I'm not in the hospital, so this is a good day. Yeah, it's been a rough week. I've been to the ER 3 times since we last spoke. Nice. It has not been good at all. I've been having more problems with the shoulder, which is, hey, it works. It's surprisingly okay today. Yeah. Then they gave me different medication, which then put me back in the hospital with a reaction to the medication. So then I got that dealt with, and then I woke up with a leg 3 times as big as it already is, which put me back in the hospital with a cellulitis flare-up. So it has just been tons of fun.
Sounds like it, man. Sounds like a good week.
Yeah, I will be so happy when this phase of my horrific life is done. I want to get back up the roller coaster again. I'm somehow stuck in that groove on, like, not only is it the bottom of the roller coaster, but the track's a little bit broken. So nice. It's just kind of as it cruises back up the roller coaster, I guess. But I'll be all right. I'm doing okay.
Getting it back on track, man. Well, let's see. I interviewed the guy from Knucklebones this week, man. That was a fun interview. What was his name? Why am I blanking here?
No, Tony Simerman.
Yes, Tony Simerman.
Simerman. Look at me knowing that off the top of my head. Like I'm not going to be interviewing him in 3 weeks, and I still don't know either. So.
No, good dude, man. Good solid dude. That was one of those that kind of comes through the email, and you're like, that'd be kind of cool to interview that guy. And,
absolutely.
Those statues he makes are amazing.
They are cool. I'm getting that Pantera thing. One way or the other, I'm getting the Far Beyond Driven.
No, all those look great. And if you want to go over to knucklebones.com, he did send me a 10% off code, which will be in the show notes. So make sure to head over to Knucklebones, use the code, and let them know the Talk to Me podcast sent you.
There you go. Very cool.
Yeah, he was a good dude, man. A lot of cool stories. Obviously, works with all the biggest bands: Metallica, Megadeth, Pantera, fucking Led Zeppelin, Kiss, like all of it, man. And he did like the Kiss Dynasty era, which I know probably in some circles is probably crazy to say, but that's like my favorite Ace Frehley era because of the big cape and everything else, man.
Sure.
So those and I know that's your favorite era of the band too.
Big fan, giant.
But yeah, it was a good interview, and make sure to go check that one out. You did a couple of cool interviews this week too, man.
Yeah, I interviewed was Marc Lopes from Metal Church. Yeah. And thank you, Blabbermouth, for picking up on that one. That was pretty cool. And who else did I interview? Oh, I interviewed Jen Majura, who very famously got kicked out of Evanescence. She was fun. She's like my new best friend. It's really funny, dude. I had never met her before, or I think I may have met her once. Yeah, because I have seen Evanescence in the 7 years or whatever that she was in the band, and I've known Amy Lee a little bit for years. So I had met her. I mean, let me step one step back from that because I'm sounding very Eddie Trunk-like here. I have met Amy Lee several times, and she's always gracious if I want to come, that I can hit her manager and she'll approve me getting tickets.
Nice.
So to say, do I know her? No. Have I met her? Yes. But I've seen Evanescence and I've run into the players, but I never really knew any of them.
Right.
But Jen rules. I mean, she's got a new band, which is great, by the way, called How We End. Everybody should go look up their first single now. And the publicist hit me up and said, "Hey, do you want to talk to Jen?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." Because it was a pretty ugly breakup. As many people remember, she was like packed and ready to go, and she got the call literally on her way out the door saying, "Nah, so you planned for 8 months to be on the road? Well, fuck you. You're staying home." So she really had a bad run with it, but she started her new band, and I emailed saying, "Yeah, I'll talk to her. Why not?" I get an email from her, and it's like, "Hey, how you doing?" And I mean, it's like right. Old friends. And when we finally hooked it up, I said to her right away, I said, "Oh, I feel like you're like my long lost friend." And she's like, "I'm that way with everybody. Just ask me anything you want." And we did. We had a great conversation. She was really, really cool. So
she was more like, ask me anything you want, just not a lot of evanescence questions.
You know what? She didn't really say that either. I personally didn't ask a whole lot about it because you know what?
Right.
Personally, I know that if I ask the question, tell me what happened, the only way anybody's ever going to read that or hear that is if I'm the first one to post it.
Right.
It's the only way, because every other interview that she does in the next month is going to ask that question. So I just was like, I told her, you'll hear it when the interview launches. I actually told her point blank, I said, I'm not going to ask you that because I don't care. I think I've already read what happened, and I don't think you're going to tell me anything more than that anyway. And I just asked her more what she did during that time. And she was really kind of point blank about it. She really fucking thought about quitting music because she just was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And, I've been pretty high up and it's going to be hard to get back. And, she just was really disenchanted about the whole thing. I was like, damn, that's an awfully talented person to just say, fuck it. I'm done. I'll go be a teacher or something.
Yeah. Whew. Let's dive into some news, man. There's a lot going on this week. Obviously, the new Metallica album comes out this week.
When's that?
I believe this coming Friday.
You kidding? I didn't hear anything about it.
And we've also got some more cop love going on too. So we'll get into that too. So cool. We'll start off with the Metallica stuff, man. There are so many news articles to choose from, but I figured I would pull up the one that I know that probably touches you the closest to heart.
Okay.
So Metallica launches the inaugural Marching Band National Competition.
Great,
along with a great video from Hetfield playing Enter Sandman on a toy trumpet and him playing with a little marching band. It looked fucking metal as fuck, bro.
Dude, what happened? I love Metallica. I really, really love Metallica. Yeah. And I've been on the train almost as long as any other person there is. And what is going on? I mean, I'll tell you where it went bad for me. And it's way later than everybody else. Because most everybody else starts either at the Black Album or Load. That's usually where everybody's position of pure hatred comes for Metallica. For me, it goes decades later. It goes to when they did Carpool Karaoke. Did you, or not Carpool Karaoke, Jimmy Fallon, when they did the original Jimmy Fallon. Is it Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy, the one on NBC?
That's
that
Fallon.
That guy. When they did the thing where they all sit in a room with him and they all play fake instruments while he sings their songs.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, this band no longer.
That was a couple of years ago.
That's like 4 years ago. Yeah, it wasn't long ago. So I said it was decades after the fact. But it just, I've hung in. I've hung in through everything, through S&M 1 and 2, through Saint Anger, where I will defend that and say that there are good songs on that. I'll fight anybody on that.
No good songs, good riffs, not good songs.
There are good songs. You're wrong.
No.
My World is a good song. Take that to the bank. If you re-recorded that on any other album, it would be a good song. But that production ruined it, but it's a good song. Anyway, to go further than that, I've waded through it. I found good reasons to like Load. Found good reasons to like Reload. All of it I've enjoyed. Lulu, that was a tough one. But I gave that the every band has a bad record thing. Every avenue I've tried to like them. They're killing me with this because I'm liking the songs, but hating what a corporate shill band they're becoming, and they just don't need to. We don't need to see James Hetfield tooting on a plastic trumpet while endorsing a marching band competition to see who plays Enter Sandman the best. Come on.
It's just crazy how many avenues that they have to really get the word out, because I mean, obviously they're doing a stand this week at Jimmy Kimmel Live where they're playing 4 nights in a row. That's massive. They seem like everything they're doing on this one is massive. Obviously, they're not doing too many of the smaller guys podcasts, but I mean, I did see a few of the names that aren't too far off of the show.
Okay.
I was like, all right, I'll take it. Turned Out a Punk, a couple of those kind of shows.
Dean Del Rey get one?
I haven't seen that he got one, but I did see that, a few of the smaller big guys got one. How about that?
That's
so
cool.
with, it's still like, Robert Trujillo kind of stuff, but still, obviously you would take that. But here, let's see here. On the eve of the release of Metallica's eagerly awaited 12th album, 72 Seasons, the San Francisco Bay Area-based metal legends have announced the Metallica Marching Band competition.
Come on.
A national challenge to marching bands of all levels to craft their most exciting, unique, and impressive performances of some of the band's most beloved songs.
Great.
Marching bands entering the competition at metallicamarchingband.com. I knew I should have got that domain years ago.
Damn it.
Will have access to a library of marching band charts provided by Hal Leonard, love that guy, via sheetmusicdirect.com for the following Metallica songs: Creeping Death, Enter Sandman, Fade to Black, For Whom the Bell Tolls, Fuel, Hit the Lights, Lux Eterna, Master of Puppets, One, Sad But True, Seek and Destroy, The Unforgiven, and Wherever I May Roam.
First of all, did they just wedge Lux Eterna in there to promote the new record?
Yes.
There's nobody that's had enough time to learn that as a marching band.
Well, I mean, they take the sheet music and just give it to them.
Yeah, but when is the competition? In a year?
Due by November 16th, 2023.
All right, so maybe.
I mean, you got time.
I think they still just put it in there to wedge one in.
Oh, you have to.
So it's Metallica week. You have to.
Bands will compete in 5 categories listed below. High school and collegiate winners will be narrowed down to 5 finalists by professional judges. Metallica will select the final prize winners in each category. Fan favorite winners will be chosen by popular vote. So here's the prize money. So the Collegiate Division 1, $75,000 in prize. Collegiate Division 2 and 3, $40,000 in prizing. That's what it says. High school, $15,000 in prizing. Fan favorite collegiate across all divisions, $10,000 in prizing, and fan favorite high school, $10,000 in prizing.
All right, I respect them. Can we say reasonably that we respect what they're doing?
Yeah,
they're giving money to music programs which are definitely in need of money.
Absolutely,
I can respect it, but at the same time, to wedge this all in as part of your ramp up to launch of your record, just because you know that it'll get more eyes on you. Ugh.
Well, I will say, you've watched many a football game, and was it Virginia Tech or whatever. That's Enter Sandman's their big thing, and there's so many schools that play Metallica songs, at their during the pregame, during introductions, things like that. So I mean, the Metallica music and band, marching bands probably not too far off, in their love of each other.
No, it's not. But can you imagine if you would have tried to tell somebody in 1985 that, the marching band will be Metallica and not like, I don't know, Prince or,
right,
or Bruce Springsteen or something? I mean, come on. It just doesn't make sense.
It does and it doesn't. It's right there on the cusp. I mean, that's the one thing, man. It just shows you how big Metallica is, because the next biggest metal band can't do this.
No,
they can't do any of this. It's crazy.
No, I mean, who's the next biggest band? Honestly, today I don't even know who would even be close. Five Finger?
I mean, yeah, because there's so many different levels of this is legacy plus size. Yeah. I mean, it would be like U2 could do this, something like that.
U2, Rolling Stones, The Who.
Yeah.
Even The Who, I think, would be way under this. What
about Guns N' Roses? Could they do this?
I think probably. I mean, they still do. They were doing stadiums last summer by themselves, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. So GNR, but there's really not much. I mean, even like a Black Sabbath, I don't think could do this. Iron Maiden, I don't think they could get away with it here.
Do you think Ozzy could do it like a Crazy Train? Because I mean, I'm trying to think of like songs that are also huge in sports.
Crazy Train
like,
would be a big one.
Like if Ozzy could pull out the Crazy Train marching band competition, something like that. But
yeah,
it's definitely a huge status, especially for a band like Metallica. That's, even though they've got the crossover stuff, I mean, their roots are in thrash.
Sure, I mean, yeah, maybe AC/DC,
right?
And there's a few, but I still don't think on this level. I don't think AC/DC could even get away with a marching band competition. I just don't think there'd be enough interest in it.
Right.
I mean, the weird thing about Metallica, as heavy as they started out, so much heavier than everything else, they cross all boundaries now. They cross metalheads, pop people. Was it you that sent me the Madonna video of Madonna playing like Pantera? That all happens because of Metallica.
Right.
That happens because Metallica opened the door to metal being on the radio and metal being heard. Not that Pantera was really ever a radio band, but I mean, still opened the door for exposure to metal that was never there before it. They did change the game. There's no doubt about that. So
before we recorded, we talked a little bit about it. I actually went back today and listened to all of the singles so far from 72 seasons. And as a cohesive unit, as song, back to back to back to back, man, I am totally pumped for all of this.
I will be awake at midnight on Friday, and I will be clicking refresh on my stupid YouTube music till it loads up the full album, and I will be up probably all night listening to it over and over again. I'm still a Metallica freak. I love them.
Oh yeah, I
can't wait. I'm pumped as ever for this fucking November shows. I'm now just officially saying shows because I am going to go to both nights. I'm not going to do what I said before. I'm going to eat my words on this one, and I'm going to see them both nights. So, can't wait.
I'm really thinking about going to the movie theater thing. Like I mean, it's going to be, obviously as we record, it's Wednesday. The movie theater thing's on Thursday, so it's going to be like if we have a lot of stuff to do tomorrow. Got a little Home Depot trip. Got to run to Target. No, but if we get done with everything in time, it's like 7:00. And it's not too far from the house. I might actually run over and see what I actually just want to kind of see what the crowd's like. I mean, is it really going to be? Because I remember as a kid watching the 1.5 year videos and seeing the listening party that was at Madison Square Garden, and you got dudes in the seats headbanging and stuff. I truly want to just see if there would be dudes headbanging at this thing.
There probably will be. I mean, you never went to a Metallica release party?
No.
I went to a midnight sale at the Warehouse in California for Black Album. It was in in Monterey, California. And people started showing up. I was working there. It wasn't like I wasn't working that night. I was just there to get my copy that night, but I worked there. And people started lining up. I had worked during my shift during that day was 5 to 8. So I'd worked my little 5 to 8 shift. And when I came out at 8:00, which was really just my plan was to go across the street to a little bar and have a beer or two and then come back and hang out, get my copy. Now, by the time I came out at 8:00, there was already the parking lot was packed, and it was packed halfway down the street. And I didn't have to go anywhere to get beer because people were handing beers out. Everybody had brought beer, and it was just a big old street party. It was so much fun. Oh my God, it was great. Somebody had their car stereo with the trunk open, and everybody was just blasting, Master of Puppets and Ride the Lightning and stuff. It was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, no, that would have been a blast. And like I said, I mean, I worked at a record store or a place that sold CDs, and when Death Magnetic came out,
Right.
and like we played it from like basically the time that we opened to the time that we closed, and we were selling it for $5. We had a $5 Metallica T-shirt, and it was just that was when obviously the logo came back, the long songs came back, the kind of the heavy came back, and I was completely excited for the entire day.
Yeah, dude. Speaking of the Death Magnetic, real quick, do you follow the metal voice guy, Jimmy K?
Sometimes, yeah.
Dude, that dude sometimes. I love Jimmy. He's a good dude. Sometimes he's a delusional psychopath.
Okay.
He literally posted today, I think it was today, maybe yesterday, of just a picture of Death Magnetic. He goes, "What a total piece of garbage. Nothing good on this." I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. That was I don't think it's a great album,
Right.
but it's certainly not garbage. There's some decent songs on that one. Even if you're not a fan of modern Metallica, which a lot of people aren't, you got to concede a couple of those tunes are pretty good. End of the Line, that's a pretty good tune.
No, Death Magnetic had a bunch of good tunes on it.
I thought so too. I was like, dude, how can you say this is garbage? This has to be from go back to listen to your Iron Maiden and listen to your Blaze Bailey then. Come on, bro.
Yeah, I followed him for a while, and I think I ended up unfollowing him just because of the ridiculous takes.
Yeah, I mean, he has some takes. I mean, I try not to judge, especially guys that we're all friends with. I try really hard not to be like, how can you fucking say that about my band? I like them. I try not to. Yeah, I try not to be that. But I just was, when you make it absurd, and I expect people to do it to me too. I was looking at our YouTube pages. Somebody called me out on something that I said. They were like, I can't believe some of the stupid shit Chris says. And I was like, good. Glad to see that.
Right.
I'm glad to see that you vehemently disagree. That's good. But I mean, you can't say that something that was almost universally loved or universally liked. You just can't say that there's nothing good on it. That's total crap. I would never say, my love for the Deftones. You know how I dislike the Deftones. What? And I would never be stupid enough to say, you know what? There's not a single good track on Under the Fur. Or there's not a or whatever it is. I don't listen to them.
The fur.
Whatever, it's under the fur. But I would not be dumb enough to say that, because I know that a lot of people really enjoy that. I know a lot. What was the most recent one? Was it Crosses or something?
Ohms.
I can tell you I listened to that for about 37 seconds and I turned it off. That being said, you told me as a fan of the band that it's a great record.
Right.
So therefore, I believe
a great record.
It's at least a good record by what they do, because somebody that likes them likes it. It's like, come on. You wouldn't catch me going on and pretending I know something about some band that I know nothing about. And
you're not going online and being like, this is the greatest thing ever.
No, not at all. I don't even know the name of Around the Fur. I don't even know the name of it. The last thing I'm going to do is give you a take on why it's the worst album ever.
It's a great album. Plus, Around the Fur had Max Cavalera on it. Come on, you can't go wrong with that.
All I remember is that it whined a lot. That
really good.
What was that one song? The first hit. It's like. It's like. It's like, all right, take the shit and get off the pot. Yeah, My Own Summer. Not my thing. It's just not my thing, and therefore I'll say it. It's not my thing. But I wouldn't go out there and say, all right, people that I have 70,000 of you listening to me, here's my take on why that is the worst album ever. Because I just know better. It's not.
Well, I mean, yeah, I get you not doing that, but I also can see why I guess there are a few albums that I'm assuming that are widely loved that I probably hate too. I would be like, you know what? Actually, this entire album sucks, and here's why.
But would
Bring
you
on
say,
the hate?
But you and me both have the same way of saying it. Yeah. I think this blows, and you don't have to think that, but I think this sucks. To put out universally, this is garbage. No, no. I think this is garbage. Okay. That's an opinion. Good. We can discuss. That's all.
Well, this will actually take us into something because universally we love this band, and I'm not too big on this new song so far, and that's the new as we record today, some new Sevendust has dropped.
Yeah,
and it's called Fence, and you
can start there.
I'm kind of on the fence with this song. It's like calling your band Mammoth and you being a big fat guy.
Yes.
The song it's hard for me to say I hate it. And I listened to it a few times. I didn't watch the video until after you and I kind of texted back and forth a little bit.
Yeah.
Video, definitely a big no.
Yeah.
I thought that the green jello was about to come and take over it.
There was green jelly or gelish stuff, but dude, let's start there. Let's start with the name.
Okay.
Is there why not call it bowling ball or spaghetti or I don't know, aluminum siding?
Right.
Think of any other useless, never talked about inanimate object. Fence? That stinks. And do they say the word fence in the song?
I don't know.
I don't know either. And that was after watching a dumb lyric video. It's like, and I still don't know because I couldn't stand it. The name is horrible and leads me not at all to want to listen to it. That's the first thing. The song itself, I don't hate it.
Yeah.
It's very tired. That's kind of my feel. So one song in, and I'm not going to judge. I'm going to give Sevendust, again, another one of these bands. I will give them every benefit of the doubt because they have never disappointed me. They're probably my favorite band of the 2000s era, even though I know they came out a little before. But they're probably my at least my most consistent listened to and seen band. Yeah. I've easily seen them 20 times, and I've listened to every single record at least 100 times. I mean, I really love Sevendust.
Yeah, me too. I'm right there with you.
And they do have a habit of releasing a fairly weak first track off of every album. That is sort of their mantra. So, but I didn't like it. If the whole album is like this, I'm going to be really disappointed, I guess. But I feel like they've worked with the same producer guy too many times.
Yeah, Elvis has got a Elvis Basket. He's got his hand on that whole scene, that whole Alter Bridge / Didn't Mammoth work with him too? Didn't Wolfie?
And you know what? They all sound the same.
They all sound very similar.
It reminds me of when Ozzy and who was the other guy? When they were working with that Kevin Churko guy.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Churko's got a huge sound.
But he has a sound, and everybody that he put out sounded like it. So there was like a 3-year period where every Rob Zombie record and Ozzy record and every one of those bands up and down the line sounded just like
that guy too.
Yeah, they all sounded that way. That Black Rain era of Ozzy was definitely a Churko era. So, I like when guys get comfortable if the formula is working. Mm-hmm. Ted Templeman and Van Halen, to go old, but sometimes they get too comfortable with each other, and it's those situations where they know they want to go to the studio and they're only going to have a month. So it's like, well, we'll get this guy because we know we can do it in a month. We can work with him instead of getting somebody that they're going to get in the studio and he's going to be like, no. That fucking sucks. Change it. It's like, do another take.
That's back to Metallica and Bob Rock. Obviously Bob Rock came in and was able to kind of push them around to get the Black Album out of them. And then over time, you end up with Saint Anger when Bob Rock wants to be in the band. He's not trying to push him as hard. He's like, oh yeah, this drum sounds great.
Let me change the world. I still remember that I'll never forget. Do you remember Fred Durst agreeing that the sound of Saint Anger was going to change the way records were recorded?
Well, it definitely did. They're like, we're definitely not doing that.
I just remember him saying that, and I was like, when did you ever try to sound like that?
Yeah, I don't think he ever did, but man,
No.
I would take the production on every Limp Bizkit album over.
I would take the production on Limp Bizkit's first demo in a garage over that.
Yeah.
Saint Anger is horrid. Everything you ever did had to have sounded better than that. Even before you were doing like 12 volt.
Yeah, that might get some demos running around. Probably sounds better than that. I mean, it's hard not to sound better than that album.
It was so bad.
Yeah. Let's dive into the Sevendust a little bit. Grammy Award nominated band Sevendust will release its 14th studio album, Truth Killer, on July 28th via the band's new label home, Napalm Records. The follow-up to 2020's Blood and Stone was once again tracked at Studio Barbosa in Gotha, Florida, with producer Elvis Basquet, who previously worked with...
Hold on.
Go ahead.
So we're going to go to the same studio we're used to and work with the same guy we're used to.
Yep.
And the same people that run the studio and the same janitor and the same everybody. So we're going right into familiar territory. Okay.
Elvis Basquet, who previously worked with Alter Bridge and Slash, among others. Truth Killer showcases that the original and current Sevendust lineup, comprised of LeJean, Clint, John, Vince, and Morgan, sound as relevant today as it did on 1997's self-titled debut. Truth Killer is now available for pre-order in multiple configurations.
Okay.
From the introspective opening of I Might Let the Devil Win to the classic Sevendust sound on Fence. I don't know if it's classic Sevendust sound on
Classic
Fence.
Sevendust sound. What's considered a classic? 2 years ago?
Right. The 12 songs on Truth Killer demonstrate the diverse style that has won the band a legion of loyal fans. Truth Killer, Everything, and Holy Water combine elements of the classic Sevendust sound with modern updates, pointing their lyrical lens at the world today. The first song released in the album is the album closer, Fence, out now and accompanied by a claymation music video directed and animated by Ollie Jones. The video tells the story of a chemical leak during a Sevendust show that causes the band to turn into zombies, but Sevendust will live forever.
Has there ever been a claymation video that was good? And I know we could start with Tool Sober and get that out of the way.
You could probably start and finish with Tool.
I wouldn't even put that as great.
Those early Tool videos were fun.
They were fun because they were unique.
And they had the meat going by and all that crap. But yeah, this totally looked more like the
green jelly,
and it even kind of reminded me of that obituary cartoon video they put out a few years ago, where I was just like, yeah, I guess. But
yeah, I'm not a fan of the style personally.
Yeah,
I'm just not a fan of that. And just between that and the story felt like it was written in like the 70s. Here we are playing, and there's this evil chemical that spilled into the drain and got into the beer keg. They drank it because they were so thirsty.
We're partying, bro.
I was like, are you shitting me with this? Do better, Sevendust, please.
Come on, Sevendust.
Do a little better.
I wanted to dive into Gimme Radio to shut down after being unable to secure necessary financing.
Yeah, how about that, huh?
Social audio platform Gimme Radio has announced that it will be shutting down at the end of April due to the company's inability to raise the financing needed to support the streaming services and grow Gimme to reach all music fans across all genres.
Yeah, well, I can tell you from experience over at the CMS Podcast Network, where I too have that sort of a setup going on. It ain't cheap. It's definitely not cheap. The royalties are expensive. There's no question about that. But I don't think that's why Gimme shuts down, honestly. I mean, it's probably a part of it. Let's just be honest. Just I mean, you know the scene.
Yeah.
Do you think they've been around 6 years?
Yeah, it says started in 2017.
Yeah, so that's 6-7 years, something like that. And they have some big names that participate like frequently or regularly.
Yeah.
Mustaine and Brian Slagle from Metal Blade, and isn't somebody from Carcass has a show on there? And they have some big names that participate in this thing.
Here it is. Dave Mustaine of Megadeth, Jeff Becerra from Possessed, Blasco, Brian Posehn, Jonah from Amon Amarth, Will Carroll from Death Angel, numerous writers, metal scholars, and labels, and blah, blah, blah.
They have legitimate talent on there.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, Knotfest had a thing for it too.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good, and it ran beautifully. I'll tell you what, if whoever you are that did their app, look me up and call me, because I would definitely like to hire that guy. He did a magnificent job with the app. Their app is fucking spectacular. And I say that as an app developer. I look at that thing, I'm like, wow, does this thing work nice?
Yeah.
I think the biggest problem they have is promoting themselves. I was shocked at how many people over the various sites that I saw that were talking about this story were like, how come I never heard about this until now?
Really? Wow.
That's surprising to me that, with all these big names, they didn't get their name out there. They should have, I don't know, sponsored like Blabbermouth. Blabbermouth sponsors tours.
Yeah.
Where they give, and I'm sure it's just a barter trade. I don't know that, but I'm sure it's okay, we'll sponsor your ticket giveaway if you do something for us, whatever. Put a banner up at your shows or some shit like that, to promote. I'm sure it's a cross promotion of some sort. I don't ever remember Gimme doing anything or Gimme doing, I know it seemed like they were going to catch on when they were doing the Ricky Rackman thing. When they were doing the ball, or what was that? What it's called? The ball.
Return the ball. Actually, that was a gimme metal and Knotfest together there.
Yeah, and I thought it was going to catch on right there. I really thought that was going to be okay. They're going to get Ricky Rackman locked in, and then it's gonna propel from that guy's name, and it just didn't. And I just think they did a bad job of that. And the other thing, and it's not a crack because to me it was perfect. I liked Gimme Radio. I liked what they're doing. But boy, way too much black metal.
Right.
If you weren't a fan of black metal, if you wanted, as I've learned, I've got radio stations on my site, and the way you hook people in is you got to give them, not all, but you got to give them what they like. Yeah. And like on my station, like I personally am not the biggest 80s metal listener anymore because, well, it was 40 years ago, right. So I don't sit around going, man, I can't wait to hear the new Britney Fox tune. That's not happening. But you got to feed that audience too if you want to succeed. And they just didn't do enough of that. It was always Emperor and Borknagar and, again, fan of all those bands, give them to me, 1, 2, 3, I'll take them. But, I just thought that they were a little too focused in the obscure. But I feel it's bad though, don't you? That they're going away. It's another avenue for people to hear metal that they can't.
Yeah, I wonder too, and I was actually like, while we were talking about it last year, I was trying to find the story about there's a new video channel coming out.
ThunderFlix. I was going to talk about that in recommendations.
Okay. Let me look that up real quick. Pull it up.
ThunderFlix.com.
It actually looks like a Chris Akin website, by the way.
Does it?
I think so.
I only saw it on my phone, but
I looked at it on my phone. That's when I was like, man, this looks like some Chris Akin put together, and not in a bad way. I'm just saying, like, it
kind of in a bad way. If you're giving me props, I'll take it.
But yeah, so Gimme Metal shuts down. Gimme Radio is shutting down. And the one thing that you and I talk about a lot is with Spotify and playlists and everything else. I mean, the only thing that Gimme Metal can truly offer somebody is a tastemaker thing, like having Dave Mustaine on. But even when I listen to Dave Mustaine on Gimme Metal, it's still like it's cool, but it's not groundbreaking or something. It was never groundbreaking. And so this ThunderFlix comes out, which is The world's first on-demand video streaming platform dedicated to heavy music and fans everywhere. Get ready to enter the realm of pure heavy metal, where the genre comes to life like never before.
Yeah.
And it's cleverly at $6.66 a month, or $66.60 for a year after a 7-day trial.
Mm-hmm.
Again, though, like why why would I pay $6 a month for something you get on YouTube for free? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, the only avenue that, and I have not investigated it enough. Literally somebody posted it in my locals page.
Yeah.
So I just saw it yesterday. So I haven't investigated enough. The only thing I could think of is that it comes in high def, like 4K or something, where YouTube wouldn't. But I don't know. I was impressed that they've got apps for everything though. That's pretty. Yeah. That's pretty solid.
You click on this, they click on the about thing, and it's a Squarespace ad. Squarespace domain.
I wouldn't have done that.
Imagine all your DVDs, Blu-rays, and VHS in one place. Everything on HD audio and video, programmed to be the biggest and most up-to-date library of new releases, live performances, documentaries, behind-the-scenes footage, and official content. ThunderFlix will home all things metal. Our platform also promises payouts to content owners that are much higher than they would be through typically received from streaming services like YouTube and Spotify.
Well, I'll be contacting them as soon as we're done here.
Right?
I've got 100,000 hours of content that they're more than welcome to.
Yeah. But so I mean, part of me wants to subscribe to this just because it's like a metal avenue, and like you want to support. But at the same time, if I was like just regular guy on the street, I mean, is this something I would want to do? Like,
yeah, I don't know. I mean, you really gotta. Again, they got to get their word out.
Yeah.
Somehow you found it and I found it, but
it was like a blabbermouth thing. It was on a few of the site. I mean, hell, let's get the guy on. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, well, we should.
See if I can. I'll track him down.
Samuel Dweck.
Ooh, I love that. I love that guy.
Yeah, I have all his other stuff.
I have all his other sites bookmarked on my thing. Right. Yeah, so ThunderFlix, check it out. 7-day free trial. I mean, maybe if it's like Netflix for metal, then it might be something cool to have on the TV and
yeah. I'll check it. I'm gonna check it out. There's no question. I'll do the 7 days. I'll probably do at least a month. I mean, $6.
Right.
Can't hurt me for $6, and I'll check it out and see. Doesn't enthrall me much that on the page though it has a guy with a record player. Like, well, what's that about?
Yeah.
I'll check it out. I'll check it out and give you a review next week.
There we go. It looks like just a stock footage of me.
Well, yeah, that picture that they have with the orange one with the hands up in the air, that's a Pixabay picture.
Yeah.
That I've used 1,000,000 times because it's royalty free. I've used that same picture on numerous CMS thumbnails.
It's funny. One of the sports shows I listen to, they're going into break. Music is also the same music from a horror podcast I used to listen to. So it's like every time they go into the break, I think they're going to be like, and when we return, we'll find out who murdered all the children.
Nice. Dude, isn't it weird when something like you hear something that you're a fan of being used in a totally uncommon, not thought way? Yeah. Like I was watching a boxing match. I was watching Showtime Boxing. Okay. And there's this big gawky boxer. He's the weirdest looking boxer I've ever seen. He's like 6'5", 150 pounds or something. Just this weird. His name is Sebastian Fundora. Or Fundoro or something. And he was actually the champion, but he got his ass kicked in the fight that I watched. But I'm watching them come in, and they're making a big deal about this guy, like he's some super next up and coming boxing guy. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm not into boxing the way I'm into MMA. So, I watch it sometimes because I like to see people hurt each other. So it's like that's good. But so I just turned it on. I was just trying to find something to wind down the day yesterday. I'm watching it, and they go, oh, and here comes Sebastian Fundora. And what do they come into? Falling Away From Me by Korn.
Okay.
And I was like, man, that's not bad. I can't remember hearing Korn ever at any of these type of things. You know, you hear certain, like Carry On My Wayward Son seems to get picked up by all these guys in MMA. And certain, you know, obviously all the Lil Wayne songs and that kind of shit gets picked up all over the place. A 25-year-old Korn song?
It's a good one.
Okay. You know, interesting choice from a 20-year-old guy.
Maybe that's his jam.
Well, hey, more power to him.
Yeah.
I'll take that over Lil Wayne any day of the week.
Well, it's funny. I talked to you about this a while back, but one of my favorite Titans, you know, Tennessee Titans YouTuber or whatever you want to call him. He has a great Titan, the Tighten Up podcast. This guy Austin Huff, he does a lot of videos and puts them on, you know, YouTube and Twitter and things like that. The other day he was doing something, but it was switched to a metal song.
Okay,
like, where do I know this fucking song? And like every time I went to it, I was like, all right, I gotta hear that again. Where do I know it? It was the theme song to Chris Akin Presents.
Nice.
I was just like, oh, you guys use the same royalty-free metal track.
There you go. Exactly.
But yeah, it's just like, I was like, I know this fucking track.
I'm gonna sue it. No,
you should. But yeah, everybody check out Austin Huff, man. He's one of those dudes that like he just puts out great videos, even his non-Titans stuff. Like he'll put out just sports-related stuff. Man, fucking super creative. And like I always look at his numbers. I'm like, why is this guy not more popular? It's just really good stuff.
Kind of do the same thing about us.
Yeah, well, it's not all about the numbers, man. But
don't tell that one guy. Don't tell that one guy.
Yeah, that guy hates
Still the worst show on the platform.
Still coming back, though.
Yeah. Suck it, worst poster on the chat board.
Let's see here. Let's dive into something fun before we get into our picks of the week and stuff, man. But this comes from Outkick.com. A married 911 dispatcher accused of sexting 7 cops and having sex with 2 by her husband. Quote, she was the love of my life.
And not only you. Jeez.
So just a couple of months after a sex scandal rocked a Tennessee police department and turned allegedly horny Megan Hall into a meme, we have a new sex scandal to analyze.
All right.
Let's go to Texas, where the Bexar County Sheriff's Office finds itself in the middle of an investigation that includes a married 911 dispatcher, a sergeant, and at least 1 deputy facing termination over some egregious conduct, according to Sheriff Javier Salazar.
All right. I already love this story.
All right. So KABB San Antonio reports it was dispatcher Crystal Perez's husband who found explicit text messages between his wife and at least 2 deputies and then turned over the text to the Internal Affairs Department. And now we have ourselves an old-fashioned sex scandal. If you go to Outkick, there's actually screenshots of these texts, by the way.
I just want to see what Crystal Perez looks like. Is there a picture of her?
Yeah. She's not too bad. Not too bad.
Outkick Crystal Perez. Go ahead. I'll find it.
All right. So now remember, all suspects are innocent until proven guilty in the court of law, and no charges have been made in this case. The deputies and the dispatcher say they didn't do anything wrong at work, but let's also remember that this case is just starting to heat up. So the players are 911 dispatcher Crystal Perez, 38 years old, Sergeant Ronaldo Salinas, Deputy Juan Leal, and Giancarlo Perez, Crystal's husband, who says, quote, she was the love of my life. So like Salinas to Perez, it says, I feel so hot and sexy when I'm, and you know, it goes on and on. You know, the texts are here.
And she's what? Having a nice conversation?
She's just passing the time.
Is that what makes her feel young and hot?
Giancarlo claims his wife was trading texts with 6 sheriff's deputies and a City of Converse, Texas police officer We don't know if there was any banging going on or if these cops were just blowing off steam by pumping out Penthouse Forum text messages. That's why there's an internal investigation going on. What?
Was she shining their nightsticks?
Getting them all greased up.
Yes. For the prisoners, apparently, the way with some of the other stories we hear about what goes on in these jails.
I mean, this just kind of gets into more commentary from the writer here. Ladies, what happened to the days when you cheat with one guy and it would ruin a marriage? It's one thing to ruin a marriage. It's another thing to mentally ruin the ex-husband over the thought of his wife possibly railing the entire third shift. So.
All right, well, let's just be real. To the writer guy, how tight was that marriage in the first place, writer guy? If she was willing to rail every cop on the third shift. Got a news flash. They weren't going to last forever.
Yeah, it's a pretty rough one. But yeah, so Crystal Perez out there in Texas, another cop, and cop on cop action.
Not guilty. Oh, wrong show.
Where's your gavel
The
at?
gavel, it's right here.
There you go. Not guilty.
Not guilty. Although taking a look at her picture, she'd do some time. She's what? She's a neighborhood 6.
She's not a. She needs to, see you in your chambers or anything like that.
Yeah, no chambers for her. Death chamber.
All right, man. You been watching anything, listening to anything this week?
I haven't really watched anything good. I've been in a weird place watching Godzilla movies and shit like that, which just weird old movies. But I'm pumped to watch something on Friday. I think it debuts. There's a new, what do you call them when it's acted out, but it's a real event, a docuseries or a bio-series or whatever that comes out on Showtime.
Okay.
About the Oklahoma City bombing.
All right.
From the perception of both Timothy McVeigh and the cop that caught him.
Right.
Looks fantastic. I should have been more prepared for this. It has this actor that's in everything as like a cop. And if you saw his picture, you'd know his name. You would absolutely, you wouldn't know his name, but you would know him. I mean, I'm going to try and find him real quick.
All right.
But he was in the Waco one. He was the cop that was in the Waco one that was trying to talk to to David Koresh, and the ATF kept doing shit behind his back when he was like close to talking Koresh down. That guy.
Okay.
He's also the cop in this Oklahoma City talking about, Timothy McVeigh. I wonder if it's the same guy. It might be I wonder if it's the same cop.
Well, he's like the negotiator, so I mean, maybe
It could be. I don't know. Obviously I just saw it in a commercial for the show, but the show looks excellent. I think it's just called Oklahoma City, but it debuts Friday and it looks fantastic. So I'll put that as a recommendation with a question mark behind it, because if it sucks, don't blame me. If you waste 4 hours on it, don't blame me. I just said it looks interesting. And musically, just got it today. One of my absolute favorite bands of the last 10, 15 years. New Devil Driver, Dealing with Demons 2, I think. Is that what it's called? Yeah. Dealing with Demons Part 2. It roars. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's in the inbox, and the interviews are being booked as we speak. So yeah, definitely can't wait to dive into that one.
It is fantastic. So good stuff there. So I'm not sure exactly when that comes out, but whenever it does, you want it.
Yeah, I don't think it comes out to like June or something, but
is it that long?
I don't know.
It might be. Who knows? Dude, you never know with these guys. You fucking get a video for them and they'll say, yeah, it's out October 8th.
All right.
Okay.
Let's see if we can see where. No. Musically, I was actually going to talk about the Sevendust. I'm cautiously optimistic about the new Sevendust.
Yeah, me too.
Obviously, this week being Metallic week, can't wait to hear that. So that's my recommendation for Friday. Also, is go check out the new Metallica. I'm sure it's going to be okay.
In case nobody else tells you, there is a new Metallica coming out on Friday.
But I have watched a series on Netflix that might be the best TV series I've seen in a very long time.
Okay.
And it's called Beef.
Beef.
It's got Steven Yeun from The Walking Dead. He was Glenn in The Walking Dead, the Asian guy. And then Ali Wong, she's had a couple of good stand-up specials on Netflix. And I know she's from some other stuff too. But the show starts with a road rage incident, and then honestly just kind of goes all over the fucking place. But it has some of the best sex scenes I've ever seen in a show. And there's two things she does. Early in this season, she taught there's her and a gun. I'll just leave it at that. People that have seen it can say, yes, I know what you're talking about. Akin, you need to watch it just because of the fucking gun scene.
All right.
And then later in the season, it shows her having sex, and like she's literally like it's the most realistic sex talk I've ever heard in my life. Like they're not just like, oh baby, you like that. She's like, I love the way your cock feels in my pussy. And I mean, it's fucking
nice, like
insanely like graphic. So there's like the sex scenes alone are probably worth it, but I mean the storyline's great. I mean the whole the so far I think I'm 9 episodes in. I don't know how many. I think it's probably 10 in this thing. It's like 30-minute episodes, and it goes by really quick. But I mean, probably one of the best shows I've seen in a very long time.
I will be starting that here at 10:02.
But even like the road rage incident, you basically are sucked in right away. You're just like, fuck, man. Because I mean, obviously it's the very beginning of the show, but she's like throwing trash out of the car because he's chasing her, and because this whole thing or whatever. But there was one time where this guy fucking cut me off, and I ended up getting in front of him, and I had like a Sprite, and I remember throwing it out of the car, and it did the whole like splashed on the windshield. But I mean, that was 30 years ago, and thankfully there's like no camera phones back then. But yeah, I don't get too much road rage, but man, my wife is like queen road rage. Really? Every time if I'm on the phone with her and it's like, on the Bluetooth in the car, she's like, what are you fucking doing? Like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? Like every time she's in the car, she's just cussing everybody out.
I love that. Dude, I love, listen, who's like that? Our mutual friend, John Drake.
Is he really?
Oh, dude, if I should just start, because he'll call me a lot sometimes in between work and getting home. Because he's got like a 35-minute drive, and we can discuss whatever he wants to talk about. Right. And dude, half the conversation is conversation, and the other half I wouldn't even say. It's so goddamn racist and vulgar. It's like, nah. I mean, like, I'm like, whoa.
Did you kick him off the CMSPN yet for that shit?
No, of course not. I got a promotion from Neely.
No, the wife will be like, you stupid fucking cunt, honking horn. And then she's like directing traffic. She's like, well, that person just ran a red light, dumb fucking asshole. It's just constantly just cussing everybody out.
That is funny.
Yeah. I remember one time we were doing a road trip to we were driving to Nashville, and I drive everywhere. Like even when we went to Florida, I drove all of but 30 minutes, I think. Because in the 30 minutes she drove was like 10 p.m. on the way down, because we drove through the night on the way down. And she gets behind the wheel, and immediately she's like, I don't think I can do it. I think I'm falling asleep. She's got her coffee up and like smacking her face. I'm like, just pull over. Like we made it like 3 exits down the highway. I'm like, I'll just do it. But a long time ago we were driving to Nashville, and I fell asleep in the car. Like I just fell asleep for a minute, and I woke up to her like weaving in and out of traffic and yelling and screaming. I was like, never again, man. She's a fucking psycho driver.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So good times though.
Hell yeah. Yeah, she's hot, so you deal with it, right?
Yeah. I can always put up with her for that.
That's right.
As soon as those looks start to dip, though, out the door.
Yep. She'll be walking. She won't have a car to drive.
And I know she's saying the same thing about me, so I better watch myself.
Yeah, I wonder which one of you could trade out first.
Right? She could always trade out first. She knows it. But yeah, maybe she could go be a cop and bang the entire force.
Yeah, don't put any ideas in her mind, dude. You never know. Jobs are getting tight these days.
Right. Well, I think that will do it for another episode of Talk to Me here on the wonderful notfest.com. Make sure to go rate, review, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you're watching on YouTube, leave a nice comment down in the bottom here. So
no, leave all hate.
Leave all hate, but direct it towards Akin.
Bring it to me. I don't care. Bring it. I laugh at your hate.
But I'm excited to talk next week about the new Metallica. We'll give a full review.
Oh yeah.
Maybe we can throw out a special bonus episode or something like that. If it's if the fucking record's great like we think it's gonna be, maybe we'll dive on and do something fun like that. But so until next Thursday or next Saturday, if you're watching on YouTube, I've been Joshua Toomey.
I'm still Chris Akin.
And we will talk to you soon.
See ya.